Here, let's teach you something. Our peach blossom is a small potted plant. Method of making accessories. Let's first crochet the peach blossom part. Here, the wires I use are randomly colored. Everyone needs to provide it to everyone according to the material package, matching colors for crocheting. First, we need to start with a circular needle. We need to first place the thread in the palm of our fingers. On the index finger, take 2 turns. After 2 rounds of you can see that there are 3 wires in this place. We need to pinch the overlapping positions of the 3 wires with our hands. Remove the coil. Next, we will wrap the thread around our fingers. Let's start with the palm position. Wrap a circle around the little finger above the palm. From the index finger to the middle position. Bring it towards the back of your hand. Bring it over from above the index finger again. Using the middle finger and thumb, pinch our coil to the coincident position. Next, we need to crochet 2 braid needles. We crochet through a large hole. Hook the thread below all the threads to bring them over. Wrap the thread above the crochet line. Bring the front coil directly from the rear coil. We need to tighten this coil. This is ours. Locking pin. This stitch doesn't count as an extra stitch. Next, we need to crochet braid needles. Wrap the thread above the crochet line. Bring the front coil directly from the rear coil. 1 braid stitch completed. This stitch is also our standing stitch, also known as our braid needles. The names are different, but the production method is the same. Then we will continue to crochet another crochet. Wrap the wire from top to bottom. Bring the front coil over from the rear coil. 2 short and 2 braided needles completed. Next, we will crochet 2 longer needles. We need to wrap the thread before crochet the long needle. Then pass through the big hole. Crochet below all lines. Hook the needle and tie the thread to bring it over. There are now 3 coils on the crochet. We hook the needle and thread it through the 2 coils in front first. Pick the line up and out again. Rewind the wire and pass through the rear 2 coils. 1 long stitch completed. We can place the corresponding needle order on the long needle mark or mark buckle. That is, the corresponding V below our crochet. Brace with a zigzag pattern. This V-shaped shape is ours. Long needle first needle. We will mark it. Next, we will crochet a long needle. Also, before crochet, wrap the thread around it first. Crochet through. Big hole. Hook the thread below the thread to bring it over. Wrap the wire first through the front 2 coils to take the crochet out. Rewind the wire and pass through the rear 2 coils. 2 long stitches completed. Then hook and weave 2 braid needles. Here, crochet directly. Wrap the line from top to bottom above the line, coming through the coil at the back. 1 short stitch completed. A needle. Braid needle completed. Wrap the wire again. Thread 2 braid pins from the back to complete. Next, we will proceed with the extraction process. We crochet through a large coil. Hook the thread below the thread to bring it over. There are 2 coils on the crochet needle. Here, we only need to pull the front coil. Bring it over from the rear coil. This is our join needle. A group like ours needs to crochet a total of 5 times. Let me demonstrate to you again. First, crochet 2 braid needles. Hook needle winding through the rear coil. Rewind the wire and then pass through the rear coil. So our 2 braid pins are completed. Then crochet 2 long needles. Before the long needle, the hook needle needs to be wound once. Then go through the big hole again. Hook the needle and tie the thread to bring it over. There are 3 coils on the crochet needle. Wrap the wire first through the front 2 coils to take the crochet out. Rewind the wire and pass through the rear 2 coils. 1 long needle completed. Continue to crochet another long needle. 2 outward needles. After hooking 2 long needles, let's hook 2 more braid pins. A hook needle directly winds the thread for 1 stitch. 2 needles. After completing the 2 braid needles, we conduct extraction in the large cave. Hook the needle through the large hole. Hook the needle and tie the thread to bring it over. Take the front coil directly through the rear coil. Needle insertion and extraction completed. So this is our second group. We need to use the same method. Let's do 3 sets of crocheting again. First, hook 2 braid needles. Next, wrap the long needle around the thread first. Let's take control again. Measure. Withdraw the needle. Hook 2 long needles. After hooking 2 long needles, then hook 2 braid needles. Triggering in a large hole. bring the front coil directly from the rear coil. Here, as you can see, the coil here behind us has become, after getting smaller. We can hook 2 braid pins first. Fix it and elongate the coil. Next, we will hook and weave the fabric that has already been woven behind us. Give it. Pull back a bit. You can also see at this moment that the shape of our petals has changed. Let's continue weaving in this big hole. The remaining 2 petals. The braid needle is already hooked. Let's continue winding and crocheting long needles. After hooking 2 long needles, 2 braid needles, then pull it out in the big hole. Continue weaving the last group. First hook 2 braid needles, 2 long needles for winding hooks. After hooking 2 long needles, 2 braid needles. Introduction and extraction. After the join is completed, we can crochet a braid needle. Fix it. Lengthen the crochet and continue. We also need to remove the 2 coils we have here. Take out 2 wires vertically for it. At this point, everyone can discover there will be 2 wires below the thread head. We need to gently pull here. Let's take a look at our thread ends. Distinguish between the 2 lines below, which one has an open line activity. We just need to gently pull. Find the active thread and we'll stop. The line below has obvious activity. We need to pull. Near the end of the thread here. This place at the upper end. Shrink, we pull it outward. While we were dragging, the other thread will be taken in. This is our circular needle. After receiving it, let's pull on the part of our thread again. You can also put in the other wire. How about this? The peach blossoms are ready to be made. We can give him the thread at the end here. Reserve a small section of thread and use 1 thread. Cut directly with scissors. Tighten the thread position for him. The thread end here starts from the circular needle. We can give him a little more tension. Then we can add it. Thread these 2 threads onto our suture needle. Just sew the thread. This is our little peach blossom. The main part is already made. After our flower hooks are woven here, the remaining 2 wires are available to everyone. Fix this thread inside us to it. Shear off. We can reserve this line on the edge for it. After stitching, to fix our flowers on the branches. We only need to cut 1 of the wires. What's next? We need to crochet 2 more of the same flowers together. 3 pieces of crochet fabric in total. After everyone hooks the flowers here, we need to remove the yellow yarn. We need to take out a section that goes through our pinhole. We refer to tying knots at one end. Next, we need to make jelly embroidery. We need to make it here in the middle of the flower. We can first remove the needle from that. Next to the flower, give it a needle here. Fix the wire knot. Then we will move the needle from the center of the flower, facing the front position direction, wear it out. And then, for every flower, we need to hook it up to make 3 release leaves. We need to place the suture needle in the. Wrap the yellow thread twice. After 2 rounds of winding, we will thread the needle down from the connected position. Be careful not to pass all our needles down here. We need to gently tighten the coil on the needle. Tighten it and hold it down with your hand. Then we will pass our needle down again. Be careful not to bring other lines. This relay ball is already made. We need to make it again. 2 identical. We can use needles here. Pass through our coil again. Fix it. And then go out from the middle. So other luggage embroidery parts. Take 2 turns. Passing down from the middle position. Tighten the coil. Fix the needle with your hand before threading it through. The third jelly show. Next, let's hook weave to create the third lucky show. Just 2. So our flower hearts are ready. We also give it the ending thread. Hidden in the hooked pattern. Using scissors. Convenient location. If people feel that it affects aesthetics here, we can also cut it off. But be careful here, if everyone is firmly fixed. We'll cut it off again. This way our Playboy is done well. Using the same method, let's take the remaining 2, also make together. What's next? Let me teach you again. How to crochet the peach blossom leaves. Firstly, we need to hold the thread in our right hand. Spread the line with the thumb and index finger of your right hand. And turn our line around for it. You can see that there will be a coils. We will position the wire head from below the coil here. Bring it up, don't take it all out. Be careful not to take out all the thread ends. We will tie the knot on this tightly. Just tighten it a little bit. Next, we will shrink this line first. We just need to pull the position of our thread head. Then we put on the crochet and shrink it down a bit. Next, let's get the thread normally. Take the thread from your hand. What's next? Let's crochet our braid needles normally. Above the crochet line, wrap the wire from top to bottom. Bring the front coil over from the rear coil. 1 braid needle completed. Continue crochet. 2. Hook the needle directly above the line and wrap it from top to bottom through 3 or 4. 5. Winding through 6. The V-shaped shape below us represents a stitch. We have crocheted 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 in total. 6 braid needles. Next, we will be at the position of the penultimate stitch. Start crocheting a short needle. The 6th stitch is our penultimate stitch. We're on this spot with the penultimate stitch. Straightly pick up the upper half of the line. Attention everyone, pick the upper half of our line straight. Hook the thread below the thread. Bring the wire from the coil. There are 2 coils on the crochet needle. Wrap the thread above the crochet line, passing directly through the rear 2 coils. Short needle completion. Then crochet another medium length needle. For medium length needles, we need to wrap the crochet thread first. Next, corresponding to the next stitch. Upper half needle position threading. Hook the thread from bottom to top and bring it over. There are 3 coils on the crochet needle. Hook needle directly 1 thread. Directly insert the front coil from the rear 3 coils directly through. This is our medium length needle. Then crochet the long needle again. We also need to start with the long needle here. Wrap the crochet around the thread. Continue threading in the next stitch. Hook the thread below the thread to bring it over. There are 3 coils on the crochet needle. Long needle here, we need to measure the needle. Attention everyone, let's wrap the crochet thread around the top of the line. First, thread the crochet through the 2 coils in front of you. Stop the crochet and flip the thread over. Next, let's hook the needle and wrap it around the thread again. Pass through the remaining 2 coils again. This is our long needle. After the long needle is hooked, we can crochet the medium long needle. Wrap the thread. Pass through the upper half of the next stitch. Bring the line over with a single line. The hook needle winds through the 3 coils at the rear in sequence. This is our medium length needle. After finishing, we will crochet another short needle. Crochet a short needle on the last stitch. After laying, we will directly wrap the crochet around the thread and thread it through. Lengthen the line. Cut the line with scissors. Here, after we hook the leaves, we can add the 2 thread ends at the end. Tie it a thread knot. Join them together. After splicing, we can select a shorter line for hidden lines. What about the longer one? Can be used for our future assembly. We found the shorter wire. Hide it in our fabric. After we thread it in, we directly thread the needle through the one we just hooked and woven in the coil. Following the texture, just pass through a few stitches. Pull out the line. Cut the thread ends with scissors. So the leaves of our peach blossoms will be hooked up. What's next? Let's teach you another lesson. Production methods such as flower stems. We also need to crochet braid needles first. Let's tie a loose knot here below first. Reduce the position of the thread head a bit. Next, we need to crochet here. 22 braid pins. The hook needle is wound directly from the back above the line. Bring it from the square coil, so we can hook it up with just 1 stitch of braid. Let's use the same method to crochet 21 米 or a total of 22 crocheted fabrics. Here, after our braid needles are hooked, we need to remove approximately 25 centimeters of iron wire. To make flower stems, we need to place the wire next to us, parallel to our fabric. Next, we're at the position of the penultimate stitch. This place is for threading needles. We crochet short needles. Hook the thread below the thread to bring it over. Crochet winding. Crochet short needle, so our wire will be fixed in our fabric. Continue to crochet downwards. Pick the top half of our next stitch. Place our wire also above. Hook the needle and tie the thread to bring it over. The winding passes through the rear 2 coils in sequence. Short needle completion. We use the same method to wrap this circle. All this thread is crocheted into a short needle. And wrap our wire inside. Pay attention to the crochet winding process. The wire must be wound above the wire. Otherwise, our wire cannot be fixed inside anymore. When we don't need to the last stitch, we need to crochet a braid needle and stretch it forward. You can leave a little bit of thread residue. Here, after the wire is hooked, we can. The wire in front made it shorter for him. We'll give him a discount at this place. To prevent our wire from being pulled out. Here, you can make it a little smaller, because it's on the back, it won't affect our positive aesthetics. What about the design? We can wait until it's fully crocheted. Let's do the styling again. Now, let's not rush. What's next? Let's assemble us. The 3 flower parts that have already been made. We need to remove this flower stem part. Let's fix the flowers here above first. We can first move the line to the middle position. Find this location and connect and sew it together. Here we sew a needle. We can just fix it in place. And then there's the hidden thread. I have also checked it before. Thread through foot using scissors to cut the thread. So we can fix one flower in place. Next, we can make our flowers. Let's take a look at our other flower for him. Set it somewhere. Our other flower can be placed in this raised area. Keep it vertical here below. Let's create an oblique arc for it. Then thread our needle into another location. On a flower. Thread the thread over. Fixed at the side position. Here's our last flower. 这是我们的最后一朵花。 Here, after we fix the flowers, we need to thread it into our flower soil. Here below, we can bend the iron wire part for it. Keep our flowers in a standing state. Next, the iron wire in this place below, we can also give it bend into a circle. This can also make it more sturdy, be more stable. Next, let's go to Huaji. These two wires above, we also need to use a suture needle to thread it to the back. We will. After threading the thread onto the suture needle, we thread the needle down from the center of the circle. Move line 2. Below. Finally, we need to fix the leaves in place at this position behind the middle flower. When we are fixed here, do not thread the needle into the front of the flower. We only adjust a small portion here on the back, fixed with wire. So far our peach blossoms have been made as a whole. Next, we need to. The part of the flower soil connects our flower pot. What about this step? Next, I will use another one. Let's demonstrate to everyone. Suture method. The production method is the same. Next, let me demonstrate how to connect flower soil and flower pots. We need to thread the reserved thread into the suture needle. After we thread it into the suture needle, we can find the flower pot. Pulling position. We will connect them. We only pick the flower pots here. The remaining half line a whole needle connecting our flower soil. To perform stitching, let's just circle round like this. The needle goes through 3 threads at once. Wrap them together in this way for stitching. 3 wires. Wrapping. The needle order of the flower pot and the flower soil can correspond to each other. We only need to insert each needle, align and sew together. You can sew it all the way to the end. Here, we fixed it to the end. When there's still one small bite left, we need to fill in our cotton. We took out a small amount of cotton for filling. What about potted plants here? Cotton doesn't need to be filled too much. If there's too much, we'll have a concave bottom here. After the concave, our potted plants will have no choice. Fix it. So what about here? We need to maintain that our bottom is a flat state. In this way, the stability of our flower pots will be even better, stronger. And then, after the cotton is stuffed, let's continue filling the flap. Sew the flip button together. Hidden thread here. We just need to thread the needle through what we just regular in the diagonal coil between the flower pot and the soil, okay? After putting it on, we'll cut off the extra line segments. What about our tulips? The small potted plant is ready to be made.